Good afternoon. It is April 11th, 2024. This is your disclaimer for Sleeper Suplex, a music podcast where we listen to music live. We give immediate feedback, first impressions, gut reactions, but of course, we can't play the actual song for you because if you're hearing this, that means you're listening to us on a public platform that does not allow us to steal other people's work and play it for free. Bummer, I know. But thank you for tuning in anyway. If you want to listen along, every song will be listed in the description. All songs are collected and put on Spotify in the official Sleeper Suplex playlist. Thanks again for tuning in. Hope all is well. If not, oops.
Sleeper Suplex!
Hello, everybody. Coming at you live from the mouth of Sodom and the tail of Gomorrah. This is your October 3rd edition of Sleeper Suplex. And one of your co-hosts, Kobe.
And I'm George.
Who does stuff on this podcast as well. He's just, for some reason, being coy about those duties this week.
I am awfully coy. I'm in a coy mood.
What brings upon this coy mood? How has your week been? We'll go into the semantics now.
It's a good week.
Yeah?
It's a good week. I'm trying to think of anything significant I did this week. I feel like it wasn't a very, very good week. I will say, I had a bit of a religious experience this week. Don't know who to prescribe that to.
Got it.
Don't know if it was Big J or if it was Big B or
Is big? Can I ask a clarifying question?
yeah, sure.
Do you mean Buddha?
Yeah.
Cool. Just checking. Sorry.
Duh.
My bad.
I'm blanking on the other ones. Jehovah?
Chip.
He has a lot of witnesses, right?
Well, he keeps committing the acts. Jehovah's another name for Jesus.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah. I worked with someone whose parents were a Jehovah's Witness.
Not weird in a judgmental way. Just I was not expecting that.
As someone who had to field their inquiry for years, it's slightly derogatory.
For someone
Slightly.
that has as powerful of a name as Jesus, I'm surprised he would adopt a second one. That seems like it's diluting the water a little bit.
They give him several.
Or the wine, rather.
Oh, nice.
But I was having a moment where this weekend I was sitting out on my front porch and I was drinking with my girlfriend. And I was sitting there and I'm like, and I was talking to her about this. I'm like, I feel weirdly lonely right now. Not lonely in the social sense, but lonely in the sense that like the world feels very small. You know, like I felt very stagnant. I felt very like claustrophobic. It's just kind of like, I wish I could take a 5-minute walk and be in like Italy or Japan or like
With your Kim Kardashian lookalike wife.
Africa.
With your Kim Kardashian lookalike wife.
No.
That's a different thing.
But you know what I mean? Like I felt like I wanted to be somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I wanted it now.
Okay.
And I'm like, this for some reason, this isn't doing it for me.
Yeah.
You know, this porch. I like the person I was with. I almost said people, but it was just her. I like, my girlfriend. I adore my girlfriend. I adore the fun time I was having. But for some reason, that environment was just like, yeah.
Would you call it a wanderlust?
I don't know the exact definition of that. It sounds like it makes sense.
A deep desire to wander.
Yeah, sure. But I was stuck at home, and I didn't want to be stuck at home.
Okay.
Because I was drinking. I'm not going to drive anywhere. And it's like 10 p.m. Where am I going to go?
Real. No.
And I was sitting there, and I was feeling all bad about myself. I'm like, man, this is dull. Like, I need a big life moment. And then, for some reason, fireworks start to go off. And my apartment is just, like, in a neighborhood. It's like a house apartment, but it's just a neighborhood. Like, I don't live, in a major city. No. It's not like anything crazy's going on. But fucking fireworks just started going off near my house. And we both stood up, and we walked down the porch, and we just have this whole fireworks show to ourselves. Like 20 seconds after I was like, what the fuck? God, Cthulhu, fucking spaghetti, like whoever's up there, yeah. Tom Cruise. Like, I don't understand what happened, but somebody was listening, and they're like, we're going to make this moment a little bit more interesting for you. We're just going to throw you this. And I was like, okay, I'll take it. So if anything happened this week, I learned to shut the fuck up and appreciate, the moment, because it can change at any second. But
I like that.
That was nice. It was like, it was divine intervention without the fear and without like the what do you call it? like when you miss death. What do you call that? There's a word for it. Like when you a life-threatening situation, a near-death experience. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
It wasn't a near-death experience. It wasn't like a big traumatic event. It was like, no, like little pretty colors in the sky. Look, pop, 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 boom. You know, like a fireworks show. It was nice.
Yeah.
It was divine intervention. It was a message without the cost of something else. And I appreciate that. You know, I feel like more God should do that. I don't know who's doing it or who did it.
Fireworks shows?
Just something nice like that, like something pleasant. You know, what does it have to come at like the cost of a loved one or the cost of like a major life comfort or function? Like, why does it have to be sacrifice? I know some of the religions are built on sacrifice, but like, what? Can we just have nice signs here and there? You know, like, do I have to be on my knees in the rain? Show me a sign. No, I just want, like, you know, can I get a little something? Ooh, look, the fucking hostess delivery truck crashed on the side of the road and there's Twinkies everywhere. Like, oh yeah, that's a good sign. You know, I want shit like that. Give me a fireworks show. Give me some, like, it was nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
To whoever.
You're welcome.
You know, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Whatever intervened my divinity, they did a solid job of it. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I think so there's a spiritual, poetic, romantic way that I want to respond to that, and there is a not cynical, but a much more definition, Webster, Oxford, type of response. So what you experienced in some ways, was a Jungian, as in Carl Jung, psychological happening called a synchronicity, which is when the dictionary definition is the simultaneous occurrence of events which appear significantly later but have no discernible causal connection. And the way you interpret that is up to you. If you interpret it as divine intervention, awesome. That's the sort of definition of it, I would think. Though I don't want to live your experiences for you. If that's not the word you would ascribe to it, that's not the word you would ascribe to it. The romantic would say that God is found in our experiences. And there's that quote, I don't remember who it's from, but I heard it from the Before trilogy. And I don't necessarily know if I believe in God, but if I believe in God, I think that he exists between people. The interactions that we have with each other are God.
It's cute.
You know what I mean?
It's cute.
It's a great trilogy.
It's real cute.
It's I don't know if I believe in God, but he exists between people if he exists. So I think it's one of those things. Maybe it was just kind of a very nice, loving, tender moment between, you know, you and your lovely girlfriend drinking on the porch at 10 p.m., presumably on a weekend, you know, living la vida loca, as it were, you know.
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't drive anywhere. Thank you for not drunk driving.
No, of course. I mean, I'm glad that, you know, the divine figure brought the show to my house.
There's
I didn't have to go anywhere. There's a fireworks show in my front porch. It was awesome. And it was a full one, too.
Yeah.
It wasn't like kids in the backyard. It was a full one. Like,
in October of all times.
October.
My father has a belief where he's not necessarily a religious person, but he believes in a knowing, knowledgeable, active universe, which is to say, if you put good out there, good returns to you, karmic, if you will. Karmic, I believe. I don't know why there's an A in that version that I just said. Karmic, which is like, you know, be a decent person, wish for decent things, get decent things in return. And it's also that as above, so below thing. The world that we create on the outside is directly related to the opinion that we have of the world on the inside. You could have an innocuous act today, not related to me, but that affects me, right? And based on my opinion of myself, my day, you, what I'm looking for, what I'm hoping for from the rest of my day, my week, my month, my year, my life, whatever, right? I can have a response related to that, right? As above, so below. If you're an optimist, you will be able to view things in a positive light. If you're a pessimist, you'll view things in a negative light. And in that moment, you were truly optimistic and, if not religious, a believer in the divine. And I think that is quite lovely. And I'm glad that you had that experience.
Thank you.
What is this podcast about again? Are we talking about music? What are we doing?
So I had a very rap heavy week.
Sure. Yes, it is your serve, by the way. Thank you. Sorry.
So all 4 of my songs this week are rap songs. And this ended up happening because I had 2 songs that I wanted to bring on, and they were both rap. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to do a rap gauntlet here. So I have 4 songs. They're all from different pockets of that genre. I still, to this day, think that, in my experience, that is the most diverse genre in terms of how many different like like you can, like how much sampling goes on as a primary art form within the rap genre. Like I've heard everything. I've heard country rap. I've heard metal rap. I've heard EDM rap. I've heard horror rap. I've heard rock rap, everything. And I kind of wanted to have 4 different distinct pockets for this week.
Okay.
And the first pocket is sort of that more poppy, modern, sort of like, I don't want to say Gen Z, but whatever, like, this is an icon of this generation, right? This is something that I think at this point we're kind of on the cusp of. Like, in terms of our age, we're both 23.
Yep.
And people our age still listen to this gentleman, but he's also for the kids.
Okay. Okay.
Actually, no, I don't even know if that's the case, because Samir here was up and about when I was in middle school. No. High school? High school. This is Lil Uzi. I'm talking about Lil Uzi right now.
Lil Uzi.
Lil Uzi, Samir Woods.
Lil Uzi, who uses they, them pronouns.
This is true.
For what it's worth.
I dedicated my first
Not for
book.
what it's worth, just for common reference.
I put Lil Uzi in my dedications for my first book.
Love that. That's so fun. I love that. I think you've told me that. That's awesome.
And I'm glad I did, because this is from his latest album.
Yeah.
This is the intro.
Yeah.
And Lil Uzi is nothing if not the king of intros.
You've told me much about their prowess with intros.
King.
They seem to adore doing fun intros. They also seem to adore doing chop suey covers, which are just so absurd.
Yeah, and those are awesome too.
Yeah, good for them.
But when it comes to intros, I mean, another level.
Yeah.
Insane.
They are.
So this is the intro to the Pink Tape.
Cool.
This is Flooded the Face. Skirt off. Skirt off.
Just 2 white guys in a room, one of them with a mustache and a backwards ball cap, bobbing their heads to some trap music. All right, talk about it.
It'll get worse. It'll get worse.
Talk about it.
I mean, let's keep it real. Lil Uzi didn't say shit that whole song.
I would not say they said much of substance, no. I will say what they did say was, let me find it. First of all, I fuck 8 bitches a day. Yeah. How could you ever say Lil Uzi gay? That's a strong start.
That's the first line
To this album that people have been waiting for.
Opening line.
Waiting for years.
Lil Uzi is nothing if not a performer.
Bold. Yes.
And I say that through and through. Now, not gonna be a buzzkill here. I'm not gonna get too deep with it.
Okay.
But I chose this song rather, because this is a perfect example of a rap song that has very, very little in terms of lyrical substance. Like, you're not walking away with, some new outlook on life.
They are not
divine
MF Doom.
message.
They are not MF Doom, is
Right.
what, yeah.
Right. And I say that with no offense, because I like this song more than I like some MF Doom songs. Sure. This song is S tier. This shit, energy alone. I've had this on replay for like however long this has been out. What does it say? This audio was
June?
uploaded 3 months ago.
Yeah.
So for 3 months, this has been on my on repeat fucking Spotify playlist. Like, this is the night this came out. I think I just kept this on loop for like an hour. Because just the energy. It's all energy. It's what it is. It's a perfect textbook example of when that hook comes in, when like his voice gets deeper and like that heavy ass sort of like flooded the face, matted the oh, come on, dude. And like the echo, it makes it sound like the arena, that's more rock star to me than like the Chop Suey cover. I like the Chop Suey cover.
Chop Suey cover's so funny.
Right. But this is like, when I think, rap rock star,
Yeah.
I think Lil Uzi nailed it in this intro. This is what I expect from a rap rock star. This is awesome. Imagine how sick this would sound at a concert. Come on.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. You're begging with me. I'm with you.
This is I could put this as the intro to anything. This could be the first song at a party and it would go crazy, bro. It's so good.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
No, I'm with it. I think it's really interesting that you went through all the pockets that I think that rap has sort of found. And it is interesting because rap is the new rock in that the distillation of it across the generations, because it's been around for a while, but now we're really starting to see new variations on it. And it's funny because I don't know if it was the last podcast or the one before. We were talking about the Suicide Boys and how you were into emo rap. And that's another pocket that Uzi does kind of touch on in some of their songs, rather. I apologize. Some of their songs that I believe are on this record even, they do kind of get there. But I think that this is the genre that I want to say, you know how there's stadium rock? I think this is starting to move into stadium rap.
Exactly.
Like it's a very, I don't want to say it's cut and paste for everyone because I don't think everyone will enjoy this, but it's certainly, as someone who, I wouldn't call myself a skeptic of trap music, but I'm certainly very, very, very wet behind the ears. I'm not well read, let's say, in terms of trap music. This does set a precedent where you listen to this and you're like, what the fuck are they going to say next? Like what are they going to say next? Like Uzi this song is, the energy of it is, like you say, it is absurdly catchy and magnetic. There's a magnetism here where I would need to listen to it a couple more times to give you a breakdown of all the instrumentation happening there, but it almost doesn't matter. You know, not that it didn't take effort, not that there isn't skill involved, not that the production is bad. There was skill, it did take effort, and I'm sure the production was tedious. I mean, what is the genius being my new best friend 2 times in a row? This mesmerizing song originated in 2017 and underwent enhancements in 2022. Like, this is a multi-year song, and it is, I think Uzi has the potential to be the next great hit maker in this new genre and corner of hip-hop that they currently find themselves in. It's true. It's true.
I think Uzi is currently a great hit maker. I mean,
I agree.
They're
Chop Suey, bro.
Yeah, no, their like catalog for hits,
yeah,
insane.
Yeah,
like when I say that Lil Uzi kills intros, I mean he kills intros, bro. Every single intro that they've done is so fucking good, dude. Like, I brought up the word performer earlier,
yeah,
and that's how I see this. Like I it's just energy.
No.
Pure example of raw. Even the title, Flooded the Face. I'm assuming it's called Flooded the Face because little Uzi got the diamond in his face, just like he would flood a rollie by putting a bunch of like diamonds in it. You know, he flooded the face. And I'm not discrediting little Uzi when I say this.
Sure.
But I like to think that they just kind of like sat there and they're like, I need a song idea. And they looked in the mirror. They saw the gemstone in their face. And they're like, Flooded the Face. Mad at the rave. Got a new house. And I've heard this song hundreds of times at this point.
Yeah.
I could not tell you if there's a snare. I don't remember if there's a snare. Which is weird because that's usually a staple of like trap music, you know, like a trap drum. Everyone's heard of like the tri-tap, the trap drum.
Yeah.
Little Uzi is one of those examples where like his voice is enough of an instrument. Their voice. Sorry, I keep doing that. I think Lil Uzi refers to himself as a he on this album, which is strange.
That is strange.
Themselves.
That's
why it keeps confusing me because
I looked to make sure. And it said last year they refer to themselves with they them pronouns and they.
Yeah.
Let me try. I'm looking this up because I want to make sure that I get the term right. They said
I believe that still applies.
And they said in July 2022 they used they them. In 2023 they confirmed that they identify as gender non-conforming.
Okay. See. It's my own ignorance, and it's my own because
you're learning. We all
because I hear lines like first of all I fuck 8 bitches a day. How could you ever say Lil Uzi gay? And that's such a
so they're not always exactly couth. Let's say with the topic.
So
but, you know,
this is who I chose as my representation of this generation of this sort of like modern. Arena, as you said. This is going to be, out of my 4 picks this week, this is the one that sort of represents the more party side, the more, big LED concert side of things.
Oh, you can see it. There is a rock star vibe coming off of Lil Uzi Vert. You can really feel it.
And you can feel like, I don't have any more examples of this really in my next songs, but this is a concept I always find interesting. You can see how much social media has affected rap because some lines, and Travis Scott is a big example of this too, and Drake as well. Drake's a master of this, and I don't like Drake, but Drake is a master of this. Having a standout line or a standout moment in a song that is so absurd and so funny that you have to tweet about it.
Yeah.
You have to post about it. I believe that's what the gay line is here. Drake does those all the time. You know, you always see those posts are like, oh, Drake just said something zesty in this song with 21 Savage. And it's like, yeah, he did that on purpose because you're talking about it.
Yeah.
And as much as I love Uzi, I'm not saying this is a con at all, but you can see it all over this album. They have so many lines where it's like, yeah, this line was designed to be like pulled out and commented on or like have TikTok fixate on it or something. And, you know, it's interesting.
It's not a bad trend, but it does scare me because I don't want us to get too far into the weeds with that because it's difficult to make music and have it be a living. You need to be a megastar, not a megastar necessarily, but you have to have a level of success, and music is one of those things, which is to say art, which is subjective, and it's difficult to pay the rent with subjectivity, you know? So I understand the desire to sort of advertise yourself in that way. I just don't want it to get too far off into left field where it's the only way we make albums. That's we, as if you and I. Though that would be interesting. I don't want it to get too into the weeds. And who am I to tell who am I to tell, sorry, I confused my lines there. Who am I to tell Mr. Aubrey Drake Graham or whatever his name is, or who am I to tell Lil Uzi Vert how to make an album and how to sell it in such a way that is, you know, up to my liking? Because it's not my say. But it is a fascinating idea. When you first said that to me, it made a whole bunch of sense to me. So I do think you're onto something there. But no, I mean, you can feel it though. Like there's a, not that you're comparing the two, but there's an energy to Lil Uzi Vert that I think a lot of mainstream rap people don't always have. Lil Uzi has whatever the it factor is to make Mick Jagger a rock star, to make, you know, Jimi Hendrix a rock star, to make all these people rock stars. Lil Uzi Vert has something. They've got something. See, we you know, they've got something that attracts because they are, I think they're the most streamed trap artist on Spotify. Not to get niche, but I think they're up there.
It's either him or Travis.
It might be Travis, yeah.
Yeah.
They're definitely up there though. They got to be a top 10 streamed artist.
Lil Uzi definitely was at one point.
They have to be a top 10 streamed artist. They
Travis
have to be.
Didn't drop for like 5 years, so I'm sure Lil Uzi filled that pocket quick. You know what I mean? But no, I've always had respect for Lil Uzi's ability to be as weird as he is, and also be as weird as they are.
They are 96 in the world. My bad.
I keep doing it too.
No, you know.
Be as weird as they are, but also be as cool as they are.
Yeah.
I think like the song immediately after this, he samples a recording of someone. I don't know who it is. I forget. It's like some media figure, I believe. But the whole first like 30 seconds of the second track on this album, right after this song, is some guy like clearly like being recorded on his phone or something. And he's like, I ain't never heard of no Uzi Vert in the club, but I know he paints his nails and he a sissified boy. Oh, stuff like that.
God.
Like just being like super demeaning towards Lil Uzi. And then Lil Uzi swings in with like the hardest song on the record. Like he's just, but he like,
there's something there.
Yeah.
There's something there.
It's like this electric like energy to it. You know? Like it's just crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's Lil Uzi.
All right.
I got plenty more to talk about, but
yeah.
That was 17 minutes on Lil Uzi. So let's move on.
Going back to the fucking unaired pilot. Oh, Jesus. So my first of the week. This is about as far a swing as you can get from one Lil Uzi Vert. I have not been in a rap mood, though I go back and forth. I've gone back and forth in the week and a half, 2 weeks since we last recorded. I have been sick with COVID in the past week, so I've had a lot of time to listen to music and stuff, and I've been trying to listen to it a little bit more, though I did not necessarily spend a whole bunch of time. But when I was putting together this list for our podcast a week and a half ago, before I knew I had COVID, the first song that came to mind was one that came back into my rotation that I had been really, really into a while back. So This is a 1984 release from get this, a folk punk and cowpunk.
You?
Folk punk and cowpunk.
Wow.
Folk punk, and I want to say this again.
Cowpunk.
Cowpunk, which is if punk had more twang. So it's sort of the middle ground between punk and like hardcore country, like outlaw country. And I know that we are speculative of country music in a lot of aspects, but they draw a very fun little line between the two. This is a Milwaukee, Wisconsin-based band. Shout out to the Midwest. This is, if we must shout out the Midwest, this, my friends, is the Violent Femmes with Jesus Walking on the Water. Hello.
The top comment on this YouTube audio is from a guy with a Young Thug profile picture.
Sick.
Specifically Young Thug in the dress. 2016 Jeffrey era, if I might add.
Yes, a great dress.
At Vin Seen It. If church played more shit like this, maybe I'd go. Makes me want to watch Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Oh, what a great way to say that. It's like, God, don't you want to go out line dancing?
The tune I will be cremated to.
Yes.
I insist that this song be played at my funeral.
Yes.
Why? These are all separate comments. Why is so many people saying this?
So,
I hate every day without weed.
So Hallowed Ground, which is the album this comes off of, Hallowed Ground is a very deep, dark, punky, religious punk record. So this is the thing to sort of note about this, and it's the first thing that I want to say before we get into like the musicality of it and stuff. So this song is meant to be taken literally. People who see it as like sarcastic are really just being cynical. Gordon Gano, who is the lead singer and the writer of all these songs, he is a devout Christian, which I thought was so weird for a folk punk group because religion and punk do not go hand in hand together. So it's a really interesting way to get the message out. But
Indeed.
God damn. So sorry, I'm trying to get my bearings about me.
I think "goddamn" is the best way to summarize religious punk.
It's really great. I fucking adore this. This is a song that I was really into when I was in a phase earlier this year where like I wanted to get more into a twang sort of idea, and this really kind of hits that itch for me. Like I love it. There's fiddle. There's a fucking fiddle. There's like a low, like it's a stand-up bass. I'm pretty sure it's a slap bass actually too. It's like a boom, boom, boom. I love songs like that. I love songs that use just straight up 3-part harmony. There is 3-part choir harmony. You know what I mean? Like harmony is obviously used a whole bunch in songs and stuff, but you can hear there's a low, there's a middle, and there's a high. There's a It's like not exactly that. The notes are better and more quality, but in general, it's fucking awesome. It's awesome. And also another thing, Gordon Gano, divisive is the word I would use to describe this song and probably this record and maybe even this band. But Gordon Gano does not exactly have a stereotypically aesthetically pleasing voice, but something I have found about myself, especially recently, I have a love and attraction to, let's say, not the most cosmetically cleaned up and buttoned up vocalists out there. I have a real love for imperfect vocals. I love it so deeply. I think it adds such an interesting identity and idiosyncrasy to any song that they're on. Just last time, we were talking about the microphones. We were talking about Phil Elverum, who is not exactly a virtuoso, but he is so perfect for that band. So too do I think Gordon Gano is so perfect for Violent Femmes. And I love on the repetitive phrase when they get to the final verse before the last chorus where they come back in with a 3-part harmony and the low voice that stays the same the whole way where it's, oh my, oh my, oh my. I love it. It tickles something in my brain. I am tickled keenly by this song. I fucking love it. I don't know a whole bunch about cowpunk, but it makes me want to look into cowpunk. This record's great too.
How much like old-timey country do you listen to? Like how much OG twang shit would you say is in your in the Hirsch out rotation?
consistently in the rotation, I wouldn't say a whole bunch because I have to be in a mood. But I'm trying to get more into it. Like, I've always been a Cash guy. I have always loved Cash, so he sort of sits on a pedestal away from everything else. I recently listened to that Jello Biafra Mojo Nixon collab cowpunk record. I've listened to a little bit of like a Roy Orbison. I think everyone should listen to Roy. I don't know why people aren't. Roy's awesome. Who did I listen to recently? It's I have a bunch of like wanting to get onto my list type stuff. Like Willie Nelson I listened to recently for the first time, and I really got to listen to more Willie because Redheaded Stranger is awesome. Those sorts of types. I can't say that I'm really well versed in it, but when I'm really in the need for twang, I come back to this, or I do. I listen to "Let's Go Burn All Nashville Down" off of Prairie Home Invasion, which is the Mojo Nixon, Jello Biafra. Jello Biafra, the lead singer of Dead Kennedys, for those that do not know. The collab album they did. I will listen to Live at Folsom Prison, you know. Yeah, I mean, that's sort of a type. I can't say I'm well-versed, but those are sort of the guys that I've been into lately, you know? Roy Orbison, too. Oh, in any event, what did you think? Let's get some thoughts. What are we talking about here?
I love a good twang. Oh. I love a good twang.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that all you have to say? Or?
No, I'm just fucking with you. I didn't, it doesn't strike me as religious. I mean, I don't have the lyrics pulled up in front of me, and I know this is a religious guy, and obviously the song's called Jesus Walking on Water, but I kind of agree with Mr. Thug here. If they played more shit like this in church, then I'd be there. I love, like, this is feel-good shit. This is, first of all, the cover is amazing.
Yes.
I just noticed that the creature on this cover has a little penis, and it's pretty funny to me. But.
What cover are you looking at? What? Turn the screen towards me, let me see. Oh, that's, yeah, that's not the cover that I'm looking at. Look at the Hallowed Ground album is what it's called. Hallowed Ground. I think you'll like this design too.
Hallowed Ground.
This entire record's great. While he's looking that up, you should listen to if you liked that at all, go listen to Hallowed Ground. It's a really weird album. It's really awesome. It's got a lot of gospel aspects to it and a lot of country and roots stuff, but it never really strays too far from punk, honestly.
Yeah. That's a sick cover too.
Right?
Yeah, I've never heard like punk mixed with this type of twang, and I think that's really interesting. I much like we were talking about how rap is all these sort of sub pockets. I love that punk as an aesthetic, as a mood, as a vibe can kind of seek its way into like these other little sounds. Jesus, this cover is horrifying,
isn't it?
In the best way. That's so sick.
Yes,
that's so sick. And this song's on that album.
Yeah.
Like, I would not expect, looking at it, there's like a creepy, molded over, like rusty looking doll staring at you from the abyss. And I would not expect twangy country coming from this. But I think is this song an outlier?
So, it's the only one of its type, but I would say the manic energy is carried throughout the entire record.
Okay.
It's
not a country twang album.
It's I'm trying to figure out a way to describe it because it's all folk punk and it's all got the sort of twang but aggression. I would say this is very much the extreme part of the spectrum that's punky.
Okay.
But there's another song on it that I do want to talk about at some point, and maybe I will even bring in. It's called I Hear the Rain. Which I recommend listening to. It's the second song off the record. It is really, really great. But it's a really great record because I Hear the Rain is the second song. It's a minute and a half. The third song is called the first song rather. I'll start there. The first song is called Country Death Song.
Right.
And it is a country sounding song about, I believe, a gentleman murdering his kid. I think. I don't remember it fully, but basically
that would be a death song.
With country. So the Wikipedia says the songs were written before the first album. Like Country Death Song was written by Geto apparently when he was in high school, which is inspired by like folk songs about like horror shit. It's This is meant to be their experimental record that came after their pop debut, apparently. This is meant to be really unpredictable and all over the place. It's meant to be weird. If you like weirdo shit where you're kind of taken aback by every song off the record, go listen to Hallowed Ground. It's really unbelievable. Yeah, if you want to get into this record, I would recommend doing just the whole thing. It's less than 40 minutes. You really wouldn't spend too much time doing it. Do Country Death Song. Do I Hear the Rain. Honestly, I would say start there because I Hear the Rain is a minute and a half, and it's like a chant song. It's like a chant where it's like Gordon Gano talking, and then it comes back to the chorus, which is like a really deep, throaty, gravelly voice going like, I hear the rain, I hear the rain, I hear the rain, I can feel the pain. And that's it over and over again. And it's got, I swear to God, it has either xylophone or marimba. Ooh. It's sick. So yeah, it's just a weirdo record, and I love weirdo records. I love it. You know, I fuck with it.
It's a good find, man. I gotta check this out.
It's awesome. You should listen to that
cover. I'm a sucker for a good cover. That'll bring me into anything.
I didn't realize how much a cover can drag me in until recently. Yeah. It really drags me in. When I'm looking for new shit, if your cover is awesome, I'll check it. But Violent Femmes are a little bit more known for their I believe their self-titled, because the Violent Femmes released their self-titled in 1983. Much more pop-y. It's a punk record, but it's much more poppy. Specifically, their song "Add It Up" is the one that I knew. People would know it if they heard it, probably. We won't get too deep into it because I know that we spent a very long time talking about this record already, or in this song already. But yeah, go listen to it if you have any sort of attraction to weirdo music, any sort of attraction to cowpunk, to gothic rock, to fucked up folk. Go listen to Hallowed Ground. That is my closing statement about this first song, and we will now transition seamlessly into the second one for George.
Seamlessly.
Seamless. Professionals.
I just ruined it with that It's not seamless anymore.
It wasn't.
Now there's a big fat seam right in the middle of it.
Oh, Jesus.
So, talking about rap again.
Seamless.
Oh, fuck, I did it again. Wordplay.
Okay.
That's a big deal in rap. It's a very big deal. Now, I've noticed, I don't know if you've noticed, but there was a time, late 90s, early 2000s, where rap was all like crazy rhyme schemes, big syllables, like technical ability. Technical ability rap. That was a big deal. Mm-hmm. And the best artists were ones who could mix technical ability with strong messaging. Think like a Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Think a Tupac, a Biggie.
Yeah.
Even early Eminem.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. I just have to remind myself that there was a time where he was, what's the word?
Consistent?
Thank you.
Yeah. Just like juggling syllables and consonants and stretching words that shouldn't rhyme to make them rhyme.
Yeah.
And doing so while also saying something effective.
Yeah.
And as a lot of these OG rappers get older, it seems to be they lean more on the technical side. And maybe that's because they ran out of things to say, right? Like take an Eminem again, for an example.
If we must.
I don't know Eminem personally. I don't know how much baggage he's got. He's clearly got plenty. I don't know how much more he has left to talk about. And I think that's part of the reason why some of his recent music is so technically focused. And same applies to a lot of other rappers, like, E40, same thing. E40 has put out so much music. How much more of his story can he tell? At a certain point, it's like, I'm just going to focus on my skills as a rapper as opposed to my skills as, someone with a message to give. Like, I'm not really here to inspire. I'm more here to just like flex my technical ability.
Yeah.
Anyway, long story short, this song is, I think, an amazing modern showcase of technical ability. And sometimes it's annoying as fuck, but sometimes it's good.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's real groovy.
Right.
This is Lil Wayne.
Why didn't I assume you were going to go with Lil Wayne?
This is Lil Wayne. Now listen. Lil Wayne has a lot of music. I have
and some would argue not all of it is good.
Well, let me get there, bro.
Sorry.
Let me get there.
Sorry, you're right.
Now, I have a soft spot for Lil Wayne.
Yeah.
I don't like this term. I'm going to say guilty pleasure. And the reason why I don't like the term is because Lil Wayne has classics.
He does.
Lil Wayne has amazing music.
He does.
You could take out every single, like, amazing, and I don't even mean just good. I mean amazing. You could take out every amazing Lil Wayne song, and you would have a double album. And I will die on that hill. He has so many good fucking songs. But he's old. Well, he's not old, but
He's in his 40s.
he's been in the game for a while. He's been putting out records since he was in high school. I mean, his first album went platinum when he was still in high school. Like, and he has an insane mixtape catalog too. He has so many fucking mixtapes. Like, again, long story short, he put out a lot of fucking music.
Yeah.
How much more is left to say?
Yeah.
So he's one of those that I feel like recently, he still says shit, but a lot of his time is spent honing his craft.
Yeah.
And he's doing a damn good job of it.
Yep.
I mean, he still has some stinkers here and there. He still has some songs that are like whatever, but you know, more consistently than an Eminem, more consistently than an E40. I could go on. He is putting out things that actually sound fun.
Yeah.
They're actually a good time to listen to. What I'm about to play for you is brand new. It's a single that came out a few weeks ago. It was on he put it on the teaser project for his upcoming album. I don't know if it's going to officially
The
be
Fix Before 6?
the Fix Before the Six.
I haven't had a chance to listen.
Yeah, so I don't know if this song is going to be on the Carter 6 because it was released as a single like a month ago, but he did put it on the Fix. And it is a 5-minute song in which Lil Wayne says in as many ways as he can possibly how he eats pussy.
We really cover a lot of ground on this show, don't we? We really do.
It's called Cat Food with a K.
God.
And I'm telling you this now, not to spoil it, but to preface it. This Lil Wayne is capable of a good message. He's capable of a good story. This is not the case. But I will say, this song is a fucking bop.
Yeah.
If I can bring that term back from last week. This is a banger.
Yeah.
And it's impressive. It's impressive. He's doing, like, the syllable play is crazy. The words he's rhyming is crazy. And he's not even, this is what I like about him. Lil Wayne, very, very capable of rapping fast.
Yes, he's shown that.
He can do the fast rap thing,
Yeah.
but he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to at all.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just like the swag of his voice. And I get it. It's a acquired taste. You know, you need like the auto-tune sort of raspiness voice. Like, you got to get used to that. But once you get used to it, at least for me, it like scratches a very specific itch in my brain. It's cool. It's nice. It's like he is the one consistent example I can find of someone who has the ease of listening of like a trap music, of like an auto-tune user, versus like the technical satisfaction of like a lyrical miracle spiritual guy. I mean, Kendrick's also like that. You know, Kendrick is very easy to listen to, but he's also a satisfying listen. You know what I mean? Like, you're kind of, if you actually listen to like how he's stretching words, it's, I mean, I'm an English major. I'm a word guy. Yeah. So I perhaps get more enjoyment out of this than other people. But it's just fun. It's fun. Okay, here's Cat Food.
He's a barrel of laughs.
He's a good time.
He is.
He's a good time. You know, much like Uzi, he's a good time. Yep. Like, I didn't come from that with this big spiritual message or like feeling.
You didn't?
No.
You weren't moved?
No, he's just a good time, man. Yeah. Like, I don't understand why that's kind of a hard concept to grasp. I don't know who I'm talking to when I say that. Because I know I'm not talking to you.
No, I know.
I just mean, like, it's just a good time. Like, I say that because I've seen ever since The Fix came out. The Fix is a fun project. It's not great. It's really good, but it's just a fun time. That's what I go to Lil Wayne for. He's a fun time. Like, but, you know, I've seen people, like, you can't compare him to, like, a Tupac.
No.
Or, like, a Biggie. Or, like, a Jay-Z. Yeah, I mean, you could. But nowadays, it's just a fun time, man. Like, Lil Wayne is the only person who, and I could be ignorant to someone else who's doing it this much, he has such a specific ability. And that ability is to take one syllable and run with it way farther than you think he can.
Yeah.
He can take just, like, there's one song, I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Uproar from Carter 5.
I think you told me about it.
It was the big single from his last album.
Right.
It was, trying to think of, like, what the fuck, though? I let one go. 5, 4, 3. No, I fucked it up. But that's the song. It's like a 4-minute song.
Yeah.
And it's a huge single. It was like the club banger. It was like the song from the album.
Right.
He only raps one syllable that entire song. The entire song in a single.
No.
In the club single that's 4 minutes long, he only rhymes the syllable O. Through every verse, through every hook, through every bridge, every intro, every outro, like only one. And he's doing the same thing here. I mean, it's not one syllable for the whole song, but like for the verses, he's carrying, even the hooks, he's carrying the syllable. Houdini, Bikini, Noxema,
It's the entire
Serena.
chorus. I'm looking at it now. It's the entire chorus.
Yeah, like it tickles me in the right way. You know what I mean? Like something about it, again, maybe it's the experience with, literary analysis. It's the English major in me. I see the fucking word pattern. I'm like, ooh, but I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's so satisfying. And it's, he has a lot of duds. Usually that's because of a bad hook or a bad beat. It's very rare that I hear a bad Wayne verse. So when I hear a song like this where the hook is banging, the beat is banging, and the verses are what I expect, which is really cool quality from Wayne, and I love shit like this. I'm glad this is modern. You know? I'm glad this came out 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I think, so I've been sort of aware of Mr. Carter's catalog. I would never say that I've been a huge Wayne fan, but becoming friends with you has really amped up my appreciation for him as a wordsmith, because I still don't listen to him a whole bunch, but I'm able to appreciate him on a different level now because of you. I can't imagine I'm the first person to make this comparison, but for me, Lil Wayne is like the Dr. Seuss of rap. And I don't mean that in a bad way.
I think he's called himself that.
Like you like legit, right? So like, this is not meant to be a mean thing at all. You almost are amazed with how easily he seems to find new ways to put rhyme schemes in front of a mass audience that everyone can sort of can tap their feet and make the beat to. And then you look at it and it's like, yeah, he just Enon or Eenie or E was the repetitive noise for literally the entirety of the chorus, the whole thing. And it's not a short chorus. Like it's granted, he says Serena and Purina for most of it, but who the fuck would think to say, I just put it all up in her face, whoa, Noxema. I didn't know what Noxema was until 3 minutes ago.
Cat coming out the cat suit. Ooh,
he
Serena.
makes
I thought he was talking about Catwoman.
He makes a Hurricane Katrina reference talking about eating pussy.
Yeah.
Who does that? It's and you can sit here and I think what you're talking about where people don't get the whole let's just have fun thing. People sort of, I think, take themselves very seriously when it comes to the music they're into, because the lamest thing that I think a lot of people think you can be, the lamest thing that the general public thinks you can be is fun and yourself. That's lame. Showing emotion and showing that you can just enjoy bullshit is lame to people. They want you to be cool and self-serious and lyrical. And it's like, Lil Wayne, with respect to not knowing a whole bunch about his catalog, most of Lil Wayne's stuff that I've heard, I'm not sitting with a notepad and going, I wonder what he's saying on I Am Music. I wonder what he's saying. I don't sit there and do that. Why would you do that? You have to go into his catalog with the preparation to just have a good time. And that's what Lil Wayne is. And I'm glad that you've put Dr. Seuss in front of me to appreciate it on a different level, because it's true. You kind of sit here and you're like, what's he going to say now? That's the appeal.
Yeah.
What's he going to say now?
How many different ways can he say he's eating pussy?
He spent 3 minutes talking about eating pussy. He says, diamonds in my mouth, I eat her out, and now her pussy glowing. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's got a beat and I can dance to it. What more does there need to be?
He is
catchy.
capable of more. That's the other thing.
He is.
The outro to Carter 5, I've played that for you before. That's one of the most, not one of the most, but it's a very, very, very strong introspective rap song, and I love it from him. There's good lines in there. There's introspection. There's therapeutic statements.
Right.
There is self-actualization. And that he's capable of it.
Yeah.
But he's also, again, just the syllable stretching, the rhyme stretching. I mean, this is the guy who said, safe sex is great sex, better wear that latex because you don't want that latex that I think I'm latex. Come on.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. He's released so much music that you have to sit back and wonder when is the Pied Piper done with his song? You know, when has Dr. Seuss written his last Green Eggs and Ham? When is he done?
He's not even close.
And he keeps putting out records. Some would say records that are a bit too long.
Oh yeah, they're bloated.
Right. So, but that kind of even adds to the point. He doesn't stop making music, and there's something to be said about that. It is absurd, and it's just. I mean, listen. There's not. You'll probably notice we haven't said a whole bunch in terms of like dissecting this song, because there's not a whole bunch here to dissect. He talks about Hurricane Katrina, which is insane. There are several lines in here that made me legitimately belly laugh. Like when he said, dick up in her mouth, can't pull it out. It's like a power cord. Genuine belly laugh. It's because it's such an absurd thing to say.
Yeah.
But it's true. He's a good time. If you want to have a good time, throw on a This Is Lil Wayne mix on Spotify and just sit there and see what he's gonna say next. He's absurd. He's an absurd individual.
Yeah. It's like I said earlier, the weakest part of the bad Lil Wayne songs are always either the beat or the hook.
Yeah.
I've never heard a bad Wayne verse.
No.
You know, like
All right.
He's a rapper.
Right.
And he's fucking good at it.
He's very good at it. Right. So
This whole project, by the way, the whole fix is just him doing this shit the whole time. It's fucking sick.
I haven't listened to it yet. I gotta give it a go.
I ain't Aaron Rodgers, but I'm still on that pack. Still got 12 on my motherfucking back.
Damn.
I love that line.
He made you pay attention to sports. Holy shit. That's a sports
I had to
reference.
Google Aaron Rodgers and find out he was on the Green Bay Packers.
He was.
And he was number 12.
He is. And now he's
Still on that pack. Still got 12 on my motherfucking back. Come on. Come on.
big. He's a big Packers fan.
Come
Lil
on.
Wayne.
Oh, yeah. He did the theme song.
The theme song. He did Green and Yellow, which
Yeah.
was a response to Black and Yellow by Wiz Khalifa, which is so insane. It's
But
such a weird part
It's
of
like the
rap.
Packers theme song or something.
If they had one, I think it is. Yeah.
Hold on. I got to find it now.
No, the one line I remember because it's so insane that he has a reference in a Lil Wayne song. Yeah.
It says in parentheses Green Bay Packers theme song.
There's a line in it where he's talking about, he goes, touchdown over Ike Taylor. And it's so funny to me that Ike Taylor is referenced in a Lil Wayne song, because who the fuck remembers Ike Taylor if you aren't a Steelers fan? Who the fuck knows Ike Taylor? It's so funny. Ike Taylor had this the only reason I really know Ike Taylor is that reference in a song, and he had the most absurdly stupid faux hawk when he was playing football. He had this dumbass faux hawk. It was so bad. Dude. Yep. Well.
He's too good.
Yeah.
He's too good.
Right. So,
What's next?
from one legend of the craft to yet another to say. So, I'm going to tell you the name of this band right now because they really don't need an introduction from me. This is a group that I don't know if I want to say they're my favorite band of all time, but they certainly are one of them. This is Nirvana, and I'm going to tell you that right off the bat. I have wanted to play a Nirvana song on this podcast because there are very many Nirvana songs that you and I both have a deep love for. You and I we get to talk about our Nirvana opinions now, which is so cool.
Yeah.
In Utero for Life. In Utero's their best record. And
Easily.
Hot Take, Live and Unplugged is their second best, but we won't go into it right now.
That's the most we've ever agreed on something, I think.
Probably. So regardless, I have wanted to talk about them a lot, but Nirvana is an institution. It is difficult to say something about Nirvana because what more can there be said? Nirvana is an institution. Kurt Cobain himself is a piece of the American, what's the word I'm trying to say? He is stitched into the great picture frame that is American culture, and specifically 90s culture. I'm trying to remember the name of the term that I want to use specifically. It's
Zeitgeist.
Yes, exactly. But regardless, he is and they are iconic. So I was trying to find a way to talk about Nirvana without talking about something that's always been spoken about. And I thought about going to the Kurt Cobain unreleased montage of Heck tapes, but I still feel kind of gross listening to those.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of them that you can just tell was not meant to be put on a record.
Yeah.
That his estate just Courtney Love. His estate just kind of released for money.
Courtney Love.
Courtney Love. We kind of have to just keep talking about her.
Hole's a good band.
They have one good record. So
That's true. I've only listened to that record.
that's the only one that most people listen to. So regardless, I was trying to find a way to talk about them. So what I did was I went back into my own experiences with Nirvana. Again, great band, love them. Have a Kurt Cobain tattoo on me that I only recently got. Big fan. So the most recent Nirvana song that I've heard for the first time that I did not know existed, and it really caught me, was off of a 2002 self-titled compilation record. It was recorded in 1994. Actually, it is the oldest song on the compilation. It was recorded at Nirvana's final recording session. This is the last time they recorded together.
So the newest song?
This is the oldest song on the compilation because it was recorded in 94. They had other stuff in material that was like.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean.
You know what I mean? I think
when you said final, I thought you meant like final.
So we can. I'll look into it while we're listening, but there's a lot of discussion about this song. Regardless, this, my friends, is the most recent song by Nirvana that's caught me, and I hope it catches you too and reignites your love for one of the best bands of all time. This is Nirvana with "You Know You're Right." That's a mean riff, isn't it?
That's a dirty riff.
So I got to ask you real quick.
Rolled all over that.
Nice. So I got to ask you, are you?
Oh,
that's static from the recording, I believe.
Yes.
That is not an audio issue. That is from the recording. So
yeah, same with the tapping at the beginning.
yeah, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's got a weird intro to it. So I got to ask you real quick before we get into it. Have you heard that song? And this is not.
Oh, yeah.
You have? Okay.
Yeah.
I only heard that song for the first time a couple months ago.
I know, it's crazy it wasn't on a record.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I heard it, I think it was freshman year in college. But,
Yeah.
I just had like Nirvana on shuffle and that came up and I was like, what the fuck is this from?
This is
fucking In Utero Deluxe or
Yeah,
something?
seriously. So, I need to really quickly amend the statement. That is not the oldest song of the compilation. I don't know where that fact came from. I wrote this apparently in some sort of a stupor. That's not true. I want to strike that from the record immediately. So, this, the story behind this one's weird. They recorded this at Nirvana's final session on January 30th in Seattle. They booked the studio for 3 days, but Cobain wasn't there for the first 2, and then he just kind of showed up. He listened to what had been recorded. He was like, oh, yeah, this is good. And they're like, all right, Kurt, do you have anything? He didn't show up with a guitar, so they just gave him one that had been at the studio. And then he just recorded this suddenly, very, very suddenly. And it's very interesting to me because it appears the release of the compilation record itself has a weird story to it because the track, I'm trying to sum up very, very confusing things very, very quickly. So there was a dispute about the Greatest Hits album in 2002, which I believe is it's one of the first compilation records they released posthumously for him, I think. But there was a legal dispute about releasing this song. Chris Novoselic and Dave Grohl wanted to release it on a box set that came out, I believe, a year or two after. But Courtney Love thought it had hit potential and wanted to release it on this. You could make arguments about why she really wanted to release it because many people have, because Courtney Love is a very unknowable person. Do you know what I mean? Personally, after hearing it and really kind of considering it, it seems like Courtney thought the song was about her and really wanted to put the song out there because it probably is about her, though it's not a positive song. So that could be, regardless, getting away from that. This is off of the 2002 self-titled compilation record, which was recorded in 1994 in part, and they take parts from all over the joint because they also get, they also have About a Girl, which is the only inclusion from Bleach, which is in 1989.
Right.
So the thing that shines on this track specifically, and the thing that I sometimes think gets lost in the fold when talking about Nirvana, this is such a crunchy bass line.
Oh, yeah.
This bass line is fucking sick. The bass line and the guitar line in it, you really get a handle on how instrumental to Nirvana's success Chris Novoselic and Dave Grohl are. And like the bass line that follows the whole thing is so driving, and it really gets a spotlight because it leads off the song and it's so catchy, you know. And then the guitar part where he starts talking about, what's the exact line? But he talks about Nothing really bothers her. She just wants to love herself. I will move away from here. You won't be afraid of fear. Again, probably about Courtney Love and their deteriorating relationship. But where he starts talking about her and the guitar comes in and suddenly like it's not the notes aren't going downward. It's suddenly like dun 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 dun, and it almost sounds hopeful and twinkly. It's great painting. Like it paints a picture for you. If there was no vocals here, you would know that he's talking about something positive. You would know that there is a turning moment in the song. He's talking about Courtney Love specifically, right? And it's just really beautiful. And again, I think when we're talking about Nirvana, we talk about Kurt Cobain and the Nirvanas. You know what I mean? Kurt Cobain and the other guys, the one who would go on to be the Foo Fighters and the guy who would go on to become a really tall, bald libertarian. You know, we talk about that. So in this song, you really get a feeling of like, no, these are three amazing musicians working so beautifully together. And I just love it. It's not a super deep song. It's not gonna grab you the way a lot of his other stuff does, or a lot of their other stuff does, but it really just connects. It grabs you from minute one, you know?
It's surprisingly well mixed and mastered, as you said, especially for something that was never included on an official studio album. It sounds good. It sounds done.
Yeah.
It sounds completely finished. It sounds like it was premeditated. It was conspired and written and performed and executed like super well.
No.
I'm very baffled. Like I said, it's not on In Utero. It would fit right in. It'd fit right in.
So I'm glad that we can now talk about Nirvana a little bit, because we're not going to get too far away from the song, but I think it's important. Not important. I'm an asshole and I want to tell my opinions about Nirvana. In Utero is their best album.
Easily.
Nevermind is the hit machine. It is, if they had one, the pop album, right? It's where all the hits come off of. Great songs. It is a near perfect album. It is In Utero #1. It is Live and Unplugged in New York #2. I will not be accepting criticism on that opinion. I don't care that it's half covers. I don't give a fuck. It doesn't matter to me. I will not be moved. It is where my love for Two by the Meat Puppets comes from. I just don't care. Their version of Man Who Sold the World.
Don't say it's better. Don't say it. Don't say it.
Hold on.
Don't say
hold
it.
Hold on. Is better than David Bowie's. It is. I'm sorry. It is. I love David Bowie. I love his version of that song. It's better.
Not better than Mid-Jers.
Not familiar. I've heard it, not super familiar. So in any event, there's sort of, it's amazing to me that this band whom I care about so deeply and this man who represents the stereotypical artist, not stereotypical, but the artist's story, the tragic artist, the 27 Club, the rock star, the last great poet, whatever, right? It's amazing that even this many years after getting into them, they can still come out of nowhere and slap me in the face with something that I didn't know. Again, this is a Nirvana song that redefines the roles of Nirvana. Kurt Cobain's vocals here are amazing, and his delivery of the chorus is so Kurt Cobain, like the desperation and the squeakiness. Excuse me. Speaking of voices breaking, and the way his voice breaks in this song is beautiful. It's quintessential. But what grabs you is, again, crunchy ass guitar and bass. That bass sticks with me more than any line he delivers on this song.
Yeah,
it's awesome. It's fucking. I love it.
Surprising amount of momentum for a Nirvana song.
It's exactly. It's driving. Exactly. It is a driving song. I was shocked to learn that some people don't like this song.
Yeah.
I was shocked to hear that, because some people are talking about it as like, I'm trying to like, some people said that it was like really paper thin and the lyrics don't really say much and it's got a sort of like pop punkiness to it and it's got like this, there's nothing really to it. And I'm like, dude, shut up. Fuck you. It bangs. What are we talking about? It bangs. Yeah. So that's my piece on that.
Right.
Can I make another request? Can we take a break so I can get a snack? I'm shaking.
Yes, we are halfway through.
We are halfway through.
Gobi.
Yes, sir.
My third song is a rap song.
Who could have guessed?
I'm gonna do an potentially asshole thing here. We've been here a while. We're halfway through.
Yes.
Depending on how you answer this question, we might be here a little bit longer.
Okay.
Are you familiar with Geto Boys?
I know that you've been listening to them a lot.
Do you know any songs by the Geto Boys?
Let me look them up and see.
Have you heard of Mind Playing Tricks on Me?
If I heard it, I might be able to tell you. Is that what the song is?
No.
Okay.
But I ask because if you haven't heard it, there's going to be an extra song in here today. We're going to have a double feature. We're going to have a Geto Boys double feature.
Oh, shit.
Because in order to have the full conversation I want to have, you need to have the context of both. Have you heard this before? I'm going to play the first 10 seconds. Are you okay with an extra song this week?
Sure, why not? Let's do it. He's looking at me like he's got something evil planned.
Okay. We're going OG.
Okay.
We're going OG. That's the category. I'll be quick in my discussion.
Okay.
What I'm about to play to you
Yeah.
is, beyond my opinion, objectively one of the best rap songs of all time.
Okay.
Geto Boys, super raunchy band.
Yes.
Not band, rap group, whatever you want to call it. They are very much in the same vein as NWA. You know, like you listen to an album and a lot of it is sex talk and, you know, like skits of people getting head and talking about killing people and, you know, like terrible beats. And
I only say OGs because it's so difficult to listen to Ready to Die for the exact reason of that, because there's that part where he's just straight up having sex with someone in the middle of it.
Yep. Same thing with Geto Boys.
Great.
But.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah, there's a but.
They put out Mind Playing Tricks on Me.
Uh-huh.
I want you to look up the album We Can't Be Stopped. Now, I listened to this album in full for the first time recently, and I understand its cultural significance. I'm not trying to shit on the Geto Boys when I say this.
What's it called again?
We Can't Be Stopped. I did not like this album. Most of the songs I thought were whatever, but this song is smack dab in the middle of it.
This album cover is wild.
Isn't it fucking sick?
It's really wild. This is a gentleman who appears to be a little person holding up an old-ass phone in his hand, and he looks beat to hell. And there are two gentlemen rolling him down the hallway on a hospital bed, one of whom is using a cane. And they both have Run DMC fedoras on.
So, again, very quickly, in the middle, that is Bushwick Bill.
Great name.
He's the little person, but he's also kind of the wild card of the group. You know,
He looks like it.
Yeah. That picture was taken right after he was shot in the eye.
Okay.
By his girlfriend in an argument. And they decided, while he was in the hospital, to wheel him down the hallway, have both the other members. On the right there, that's Scarface. You might have heard of him.
Yes.
And on the left is Willie D.
Great name.
Currently in the middle of his cowboy era, as he referred to it. Word for word, the cowboy era. In which he would act recklessly, but also spit mad game in his songs. There are many instances of him performing and someone heckling him in the crowd, and he jumps down, knocks that person out, and then jumps back on stage to continue performing. And this is what he referred to as his cowboy era, because that hat never left his head. So you're looking at prime Geto Boys, right?
Okay.
And in the middle of an album all about how Bushwick Bill likes to get his nipples sucked, and Willie D hates the KKK, and Scarface has been dealing more drugs than he's seen grassy lawns, you know?
Sure.
Like, they come out with this.
I consider myself a believer in the Geto Boys now.
Classic.
I consider myself a
Classic.
believer. Yeah.
Instant. Like,
I agree.
Classic.
Totally agree.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I think we've spoken about this before. I love songs, rap songs, that are legitimately just a simple sample and it's just motherfuckers going.
Like, that's one of the few rap songs I can think of. And again, I've heard this song a million times, so that's part of the reason why. And it could just be me in my situational, selective times that I've heard this. Full of quotes. Just quote after quote after quote after good line after good line. So we triple teamed on them, dropping them motherfucking bees on them. Like, it's a song about paranoia and fear, but it's so hard.
One day we will have these cameras in this room set up to do a video version of this, and you will see how much dancing my friend here and I do when it comes to our songs on the tracks. Really absurd. He was acting out some of the lines. It was really
Dude,
funny.
I know this whole song by heart. It's incredible.
Yeah.
But I bring this up. We don't have to have too much discussion because there's two. But this is the one that everybody knows.
Yeah.
You ask any, decent rap fan, they've probably heard about this.
No.
This is one of those first big, like, introspective.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just was gonna say I went to add this to my playlist when it first started because I was like, oh, this is really fucking good. So I went to add it to my personal playlist. I apparently already had it on there.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. I think it was in like GTA 5 too. So like it's a big one, it's huge and for good reason. I mean, it's catchy. It's dope. It's introspective.
it is.
And I'm going to play a second one that I can't find any discussion on at all. I look up everything. I just want to, I was Googling it because this song has been my most played song of the last 2 weeks. Easily. More than anything I've played for you this week. This song has been on loop constantly. It's gotten so, I've played it so much, I listen to the Chopped and Screwed version now because I also like that version just because it's the same thing but slightly different. But, I'm just like, how is no one talking about this one? I feel like it's on the same level. I tried looking at Reddit. I've tried looking at, Rolling Stone's top 10 Ghetto Boy songs. It's not even on there. There's nothing. But I want you to be the judge and be honest with me. You know? Now, do I think it has the classic power that Mind Playing Tricks on Me has? Clearly not. But pretty fucking good. This is Time Taker. This album's amazing. This album is fucking amazing. I was talking shit about that last album, but this one is fucking incredible. Every song on it bangs. But this song in particular fucking gets me. I don't know why. Chills, goosebumps, goose skin.
Oh, shit.
Everything.
Shit.
I love it. I love it. It's... I don't know. Maybe... I want to hear your perspective on it because I kind of have the context of the other type of music they make. They're very violent dudes. Very aggressive dudes.
Yeah.
Even on this same album, there's lines like, you cried when your grandmama died. That was real. But you don't got to cry no more because you going to see her.
Jesus. Yeah.
The boys in blue going to be the boys in red because they going to bleed. Yes, indeed. But just and it's only one song per album. This is in the middle of this album. Mind Playing Tricks on Me is in the middle of that album. And it's just this deep dive into introspection. There's good lesson in here. There's some killer fucking lines again. Life is like a game of dice. You roll it right the first time. You seldom get to roll it twice. Why my life got to happen yesterday? Why can't I memorize tomorrow and live my life as just today? Come on.
I'm snapping. If that's not reading, I'm snapping.
Come on.
Yeah.
Okay. I want your opinion, though.
So you asked me to tell you why this isn't a hit where the first one is, when they basically follow the same formula. You know what I mean? So I like this song. What I will say, this sounds much more like a 90s song. The instrument, the production on it, the synths, the horns, this sounds like the 90s hip hop scene to me. It's so much of it. I like it, but what I will say is this sounds a little bit like it's produced like a Parappa the Rappa song. In that it has a very fun, jumpy sort of energy to it, but it's I think the reason that the first one drew me is the thing I said, which is it's a simple guitar sample and it's just some guys going. And for me, I think that lends a little bit better to a timelessness because I like this. But again, if you played this for me, I'm willing to bet you, if you didn't tell me anything about this and you played it for me and you said, what year do you think this came in? I'm willing to bet you I could have gotten within 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
I really believe it.
Absolutely.
And again, not a bad thing, but if you're not into hearing 90s hip hop tropes, this one's going to probably catch you off guard. It sounds like No Time to Die with a bunch of sugar and sweetener laced on it with the instrumentation and the production. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents.
No, yeah.
So
You're looking at me like
I
should have a rebuttal.
No, I'm not that. I'm waiting for you to make your next point on it. It's your song. I didn't know if you had more to say.
See, the 90s, and I'm not saying you're not saying this. If that makes sense?
No.
The 90s appeal is part of what works for me.
Okay. Yeah.
And I know you weren't saying anything against that, but it sounds stereotypical, as you said. It sounds classic. But what strikes me the most about it is the lines. Like what they're talking about. Like it's crazy introspective. Like some of those lines, like the ones that I just mentioned, are more thoughtful and easily digestible at the same time than like shit I've heard from modern day rappers, like even rappers from back then. Like I have yet to hear a song, and this is again could be personal bias here based on my own experience, my own circumstances, whatever. This one hit me. This one hit me hard. And something about the groove of it makes it more easy to listen to than the last one. It's not as much of a storytelling song, too. So it's a lot harder to get sick of it, but it's just like, it's like killer line, 2 seconds later, killer line, 2 seconds later, killer line. And that sort of like sugary parappa bounciness. Under it, there's like a like whatever you call that instrumentation that was playing, that kind of gives it like this somber melancholy. It's like you're crying in the club. You know, I just imagine me like fucking, like this sounds like I'm, you know, in like a lowrider on a really sunny day. It's beautiful. Everything should be right, but there's just a tear going down my cheek. Just a tear. Just a single one. And I'm, you know, I'm head bopping, I'm banging, got one hand on the wheel, got a fucking, you know, gun on my side or something. Feeling cool. And
Did you say based on your personal experiences?
No, I'm saying this is how it makes me feel currently.
Just checking.
And I'm not saying those because they're
my friend
brought up in the song.
No.
Because they don't really talk about that shit in the song. I mean, he talks about shooting somebody.
Yes.
But it's just like because of the 90s rap stereotype of it,
yeah,
it gives me the sort of like cool, you know, swagger feel of that era. But there's such a heavy introspection to it.
Yeah.
That is this really weird crossbreed going on.
It's very interesting. It's like the storytelling of the first one, except it's like it evokes a much more niche specific moment in time, which I think is what we're both saying.
Yeah.
Like the first one is a lot simpler in the fact that, like I said, it's just a guitar line and some dudes. This one is some dudes and a much more gussied up 90s.
I like that.
Like
gussied up.
Behind, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like it's legitimately the best way I can say it is it's like Parappa the Rapper, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just it's bouncy. It's got a sort of it's got an energy to it. It's got some synths in it, which is already a very different vibe from the guitar line of the first one. It's the first one with some extra color splashed on it, you know?
Yeah.
It's not worse. It's just I would say it's a bolder song. And because it's a bolder song, it's going to divide fans. Like the classic is Mind Playing Tricks on Me, like you said, and it's timeless and it's universal. And this one is 90s as fuck. And that's going to work for a lot of people, such as yourself, such as myself. And that's not going to work for a lot of other people, such as, I'm sure, people who didn't enjoy Parappa the Rapper, right? So it's like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I hate to keep bringing it up, but the content of it.
Yeah, no, I mean, shit. Yeah.
You know.
Willie D calls a gun a popper, which is funny. And then he says trousers. This is a weird guy.
At his abdomen. I love the way he delivers that shit. Too.
I pull my popper out my trousers.
At his abdomen.
It's like a British grandfather talking about his dick.
So sick. The first song is like such a focus on a mental illness, like paranoia and delusions and shit. But this song, maybe it's just more relatable and that's why it's grabbing me more, but it's like more relatable in the sense of like the acknowledgement of existential dread. Like time is moving without you. Like in the first song, everybody feels paranoia, everybody feels fear, but it's kind of hard to imagine yourself in, like, at least for me personally, and to imagine myself in a situation where I'm like punching the street without knowing it, or seeing a man in a black hat and a black cane stalking me through my window and checking my phone for taps and stuff. Like, it's a cool story, but I can't see myself in it.
Yeah.
Not that it's made for me, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But for this one, it's like hearing existential dread over a 90s boom bap beat. It's like pretty fucking, it's nice. It's like,
I think it's like you're saying. I think the first one plays into a character.
yeah.
Like because it said in the, again, take a shot, he's mentioning the fact that he's looking at the genius thing. The first song is sort of about, I got to imagine, based on what I've read, that they are one of the first groups to really talk about the paranoia laden with the gangster lifestyle.
Mainstream, at least.
Right. And so the first one's playing into the gangster rap character, which a lot of 90s rap groups did. Like, I mean, shit, the hardest member of NWA was probably Eazy-E, and he was also probably the worst rapper on there, right? You know what I mean? So it's sort of like playing into a character. Hello, just slap my mic. It's sort of playing into a character that a lot of people at the time were playing into. The second one it really sounds more like them. They're sort of like over rapping about gangster stuff, though I don't know how much of it is true to their life. They're much more about living day to day and the guilt they feel over very specific instances. And then Bushwick Bill has his verse, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, everyone has their thing that they're doing. So, how
much longer I got life left?
So
it is the weakest verse, but I just,
and it's funny because he's got the strongest name.
I love the delivery too.
I gotta ask, is he actually a little person?
Yeah.
Okay. So in the first song, when he talks about punching a dude who's 6 or 7 feet in the face, how did he do that?
There's a video if you want to see. I was watching it for the first time while I was playing the song, and they do it.
Does he like get lifted? Is it like
Kind of looks like that way.
Yeah.
I mean,
This is not meant to make light of.
It's a good point.
This is not meant to make fun of like little people. It's not meant to.
No, I know.
But it evokes such a specific image in my head because I think that makes him so much more of a character. That makes him so much more interesting to me.
Have you ever seen Child's Play? Are you familiar with Chucky?
I've seen the first Chucky movie.
So you know how Chucky kind of just flies at people?
Yeah.
And I don't bring this out of nowhere. Bushwick Bill consistently refers to himself as Chucky.
I was called Chucky when I was a child. I thought it was a term of endearment.
Well, there's a
It
song
wasn't.
on...
I was being bullied. I didn't know.
There's a song on We Can't Be Stopped called Chucky, where I don't know if he's the first, but he's got to be one of the first rappers to kind of adopt like the serial killer persona. But the whole song is about him killing people, and it's called Chucky, and it's it's the shtick because he's a little person. So ever since I was introduced to him that way, I've just kind of imagined he gets at people the same way Chucky does, because that's the persona that he's given.
being possessed by a murderer and then flying.
Well, not possessed, but he's...
Isn't that what happens to Chucky?
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm going to give Bushwick Bill a pass and say he's not possessed here.
Now listen.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Aw, I didn't even know he was sick.
2019.
That's so recent.
Pancreatic cancer.
What the fuck? Oh my God. That's awful.
Yeah, that's what makes this song so heartbreaking too. How much longer I got life left?
God damn. God rest, Bushwick Bill. Holy shit. You had the best name of the group. What the fuck? Shit. All right. Now I feel like a dick.
What?
Just laughing at the image of him like a Chucky doll flying at his enemies and punching.
He said it.
Okay.
It's self-proclaimed.
Okay.
He's got a song called Chucky. Like,
God rest Bushwick Bill.
listen, he's the one who wrote.
Too soon. Take it too soon.
He's the one who wrote punching people that 6 or 7 feet. Dropping them motherfucking bees on him. Like,
Yeah.
he's doing it. So,
He is.
He invited the image.
God rest.
We're just entertaining it.
We are playing out the vision.
Exactly.
We are doing right by Bushwick Bill.
Yes.
God rest.
In his limited vision.
Are we transitioning off of that? Okay, cool. So now to move on again, and this is going to be a common theme to the back half of my little catalog here as well. This is not a rap song. In fact, this is, again, pretty far away from what we just did. This is a 2015 release from a Kingston, Pennsylvania, your favorite state-based band. This is a shoegaze, alt-rock type release. A bit of a departure for this group, which we will sort of touch on. I'm not really going to go into their history super deeply. This is Title Fight with Your Pain Is Mine Now. All right. Dude. Fucking...
Slapper.
Dude.
Slapper, banger,
Yeah.
bop,
Yep.
tune.
We were talking before we came on the air, and I mentioned Title Fight. We were going down the list of songs, and I mentioned Title Fight. Title Fight, and I will say this anecdote now too. Title Fight is a band that I sort of every now and again I'll come back and I'll be like, I want to listen to some good, because again, this is a departure. This is a dreamier entry for them. This is a much more shoegazy entry than they usually do. They usually are like an emo punky sort of band. I come back to them every now and again, and I'm reminded how much I love Title Fight. Like, I adore Title Fight, and this record is really kind of unique for them. Yeah, I mean, it's the word of last recording session was vibe. It's a vibe. It's a vibe. It is Title Fight trying to do like almost a like Smiths, where Joy Division puts Ian Curtis, the lead singer, as the lead of the Smiths. He almost has an Ian Curtis quality to his voice, and I don't know if that's the way they're mixing his vocals in, or if that's just his delivery, but he sounds almost Ian Curtis-like, and he's in front of just like a new wave Smiths type band. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
It's got a British new wave feel to it, and I really fuck with it.
Out of all the shoegaze I've heard, this is probably the clearest.
Easy. Yes, easily.
And I appreciate that. You know, I do like shoegaze as is, but this type of shoegaze felt a little bit more accessible.
Yes.
Usually when I'm a shoegaze connoisseur, when I feel like I'm in the mood to gaze at shoes, I have to be committed to it. You know,
Yeah.
Like, it's very rare I can have a shoegaze come up on shuffle and it's not jarring.
Yeah.
You know, this one I feel like is an exception. I could throw this on in a mix somewhere and it would feel right at home. Like, it's not too much of a mental shift, if you would. You know,
I love it. It gives me that sinking feeling that a lot of shoegaze gives me,
Yeah.
but it never. It fills you with a melancholy, but it's not the type of melancholy that you want to wallow in. It's a melancholy that makes you want to stand up and dance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This has a dance club melancholy to it. The effect on the goddamn guitar when they get to the final bridge before the chorus, the wah wah shit they do with it.
the wah wah shit.
Oh my god. It's I mean, if I may, it's orgasmic, if I may. It is absurdly good. It is such a catchy ass fucking song. For a very long time, I found myself literally just muttering to myself, "Gatling gun, your pain is mine now." Just muttering it to myself over and over again. It's so good. And like I said, this is a departure for them. They're usually an emo band, like a hardcore emo band. Like I recommend listening to their shit if you can. If you can stomach hardcore emo, if that's your scene, I recommend giving them a shot. I think they sort of have I don't know what they're on hiatus now for the past 5 years. I think they're sort of on some people have certain opinions about them, and I've never really been quite sure where they fall in the punk rock scene, but I think hardcore punk and punk rock like theirs sort of gets pigeonholed as corny sometimes, and I don't see them that way. I think they're just really, really fun and really punchy, and I think this is a really cool... It's the same as my Turnstile rant. It's like, go listen to their other stuff that's more hardcore because it's awesome, but if you want a good midway point, this is a good step, like a step down from their hardcore, but a step above the basic shoegaze. Not basic, but the shoegaze, like hoi polloi. It's like it's their version of shoegaze. Feel?
It's very strong. It's very strong. Very unique.
Yes.
It's nice to see so many different sides of such a niche subgenre.
Yeah.
Not, you know. It's a good one. It's a good one. I like it.
Yeah. I mean, shit. There's not a whole bunch to say. I love it.
I mean, I would gaze at my shoes listening to this. So I guess successful. You know.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah. I mean, we don't really have a whole bunch to say about. I don't have a whole bunch to say about the song, mostly because we've been going for quite a minute here. However, this is great. Go listen to Title Fight. When we're done here, I might even go buy some merch. Who's
Hell
to
yeah.
say?
Hell
Who's
yeah.
to say?
Give them money.
Give money to bands.
All right. Okay. My last rap song.
Coming down the home stretch here.
My last rap song. This is a song that I'm sure very few people have heard. It's got just about 900 views on YouTube. This is a guy that has 360 subscribers. Deserves way more. I will say for the record. What are you doing?
Just flexing my arm.
Oh.
I was
just flexing. You know, just
I was helping my dad move this weekend and my arms are still kind of sore.
Okay. Gotcha.
The fuck was that call out? What are we doing? What was that?
You're making eye contact with me and lifting an imaginary
I was listening
thumbbell,
to you.
like,
I was listening to you and stretching my arm.
Oh, hey, you know what? Stretch away. Do your thing. It has been a long session.
Intro. Intro your song.
No, it's been a long session.
Fucked up.
I like this guy a lot. I discovered him through an Instagram ad, proceeded to follow him and DM him a lot, and that resulted in me making a music video for him. The music video that I made with him is not the song that I'm playing today, but safe to say that this is a guy who I think, given the publicity of any mainstream rapper today, would be a huge success. And I don't understand how. I don't know how someone with 900 views and 360 subscribers can make a song that sounds this good. I don't get it. And I don't mean this good. Like, you know, anybody's capable of making a good song with any instrumentation at any time. But this, production quality-wise, sounds Kendrick level. You know, maybe like the microphone quality could be like a bit more high end and stuff like that. But in terms of like the creative ideas on display here, in terms of the lyricism on display here, in terms of the topic on display, in terms of the instrumentation on display, crazy. This is Rose by Maderanged. Dope.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah. Is that your final stance on the matter, or do you have anything else to say? It's a wistful look in his eyes for the people at home.
I'm a sucker for a good story.
Yeah.
Right. And I know nothing about this guy. I mean, I've worked with him a bit. He's a great dude.
Yeah.
You know, he's been super nice through Instagram DMs and through the exchanges we've had as I was working with him for the video that we did. But, like, I don't know his backstory. I don't know his home life. I don't know shit. I don't know, like, where he's from or anything, you know? Like, I've never seen an interview with him, never heard him speak outside of our exchanges, like, shit like that. But I feel like listening to these songs, you can tell right away where all the inspirations are. And not in a bad way at all.
No.
Like, you can clearly hear the Kendrick influence, the JID influence.
Jid was the exact one I was going to say.
Yeah, but it's only influence. It's not copycat to me. Like, it's just in terms of, like, he's taking the most unique voices in rap today and sort of playing with that himself. And he has a great voice. He's kind of got that same, I don't even know what you call it. Like, I don't even know how to describe that sort of rasp that he has, but he's got a really good voice for shit like this, and he carries it really well. His flow is crazy. Some of his lines are crazy. I don't know who's producing this shit. I don't know if he's doing it, but that little bwang, 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 bwang is killer. It's awesome. Like, it's, and again, there is a sort of a, like, I'm giving it a crutch because it's someone who's not rich and famous.
Right.
You know, I mean, he could be rich, I don't know, but I would assume not.
No.
This is not what I would expect from a quote unquote like SoundCloud rapper. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like someone who I found through an Instagram ad and who has 300 subscribers. This is crazy.
Yes.
Crazy. Like crazy bop.
Yeah. I agree with everything you're saying, and I hate to come out of the gate praising something that he didn't technically make, but I love that he has, and I'd love to change the world sample. I was like, oh shit, I'd love to change the world, like the 10 years after song. Not for that to be the first thing. I just love that as a sample. I think he ties it into the overall overarching theme of the song in and of its like just with the usage of it. I think he talks a lot on a lot of societal issues that you hear people in rap songs talking about. You know, disparities of wealth, inherent racism in the system, and I'm trying to say this without making it sound so minor because it's obviously not minor, but it's, you know, it's territory that's been treaded for years, except he does it in a way that I don't think I've ever heard people say. Like, my cornucopia, like Yugoslavia, when I first read that, I kind of raised my eyebrows. I was like, okay. And then he talks about Scandinavian labia, and I'm like,
my skin is fetishized by skinny Scandinavian labia.
Whoa. So, yeah, no, he has a really good built-in, already defined identity under him, like you're saying. Like, you wouldn't expect someone with a relatively minor following to already have a made-in profile about him. But you listen to this and you like you said, you get it. Yeah. You get where he's coming from. You get where his interests lie in his music. You get where his delivery might stem from in branches. Again, not copycat, but inspired. You get a feeling where his interests lie as a musician. And I think there are so many, honestly, I think there are so many mainstream musicians of every genre who you listen to their stuff and you're like, okay, but who are you?
Right.
What is your identity? What are you telling me? You know what I mean? Not to sound pretentious or cunty, but that's just kind of the truth of the matter. With this, you really, you listen to it and you get it. You're like, yeah, I feel like I understand who this guy is, where he's from, what he's trying to do. And I think it's great.
Yeah.
Shout out 10 years after, bro. Come on. Sorry.
No, he's and this is he doesn't even have an album out yet, but at the time of recording. But
at the time of recording.
You know, across all the singles, he's got a consistent pocket, and it's a pocket he's made for himself. And I don't know how much this matters to you or to people listening. He fits right into a playlist. Or a mix, right in.
The song you helped with, it's like a glove. It really doesn't sound out of place at all next to the other stuff.
Right in.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's a few other artists I've been following that have like you said, a minor following. Some have even more than him, but I still consider them like, you know, up and coming. And you can usually tell.
Yeah.
You know, like if you transition from like a Lil Wayne to like someone extremely underground. You're like, okay, like I appreciate this for what it is, but it kind of comes with that asterisk of like, yeah, this might be like low budget. You know what I mean? Like you can tell this one, like a glove, like you said, fits right in.
Yeah.
Like this guy has bangers that are on par with other bangers I've heard. Yeah. This guy has moody songs such as this one. There's another one called Hopscotch, fantastic. Came out on my birthday, love him for that. And they fit right in. Smoking playlist, chill playlist, vibe playlist, hardcore rap playlist, upbeat playlist, motivational playlist. Like he's only done like 6 singles, and he's in all of them. Like,
yeah, so the song that you help this gentleman with is called "Where Is My Love." That song, not to talk about another one of his songs when we're not talking about that song in this entry, of course, but that song specifically, I put on my my smaller playlist that is sort of branched off from my larger mishmash playlist. The smaller playlist, I literally have it labeled. People may be okay hearing this, where it's like my taste and my major huge playlist that has a bunch of different genres and styles and stuff on it, distilled into a smaller idea that's still wild and out there, but it's a bunch of mid-tempo stuff that everyone can get to. This is on that playlist. Yeah. And again, it's come on, and I've been like, oh yeah, this is another AAA recording artist type of guy. And then I'm like, oh wait, no, this isn't like, you know, whatever. This isn't like Def Jam. This is like some guy. Yeah. Not to be disrespectful to the gentleman. He's a talented man, but it's just a dude. You know what I mean?
I've never had so much instant faith in an up and coming anybody.
Yeah.
Up and coming musician, rapper. Like, I've never listened to a guy and be like, oh my God, dude, if the right exec heard this.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, he's got something. He's keyed into something.
Yeah, if J. Cole heard this shit, if Top Dog heard that shit, like he'd be on there in a week. Are you kidding me? Like, Yep. But that's my plug.
Yeah.
Shout out maderanged.
Shout out. All right. So we're coming down the home stretch here. This is going to be the last song of the day. Cue crying sound effects.
Mommy.
So from one side of the spectrum, a young man on the rise to a New York City-based alt and noise rock innovator, I would say. This is a band. This is a 2006 alt indie noise rock release. Whoa. This is from their, get this, again, opposite end of the spectrum, 14th studio album.
Jeez.
This is from their 14th. These guys are legends in the underground NYC rock scene. They emerged from an artsy 70s punk scene, which at that time was plateauing and beginning to die a, let's face it, drug-related death.
No.
They're out of the no wave art scene, which was a play on the new wave scene. This is the kings of experimentation. These are the kings of New York City alt rock cool. These are your favorite cold weather rock kids. These are your weird art school motherfuckers who decided to make a band. My friends, this is Sonic Youth with Incinerate. All right.
You seen the music video for that?
I haven't. Is it cool?
It's cool.
Dude.
It's just like... Hold on, I'm going to make sure the volume's off before I look at it again. Yeah, the whole thing is just like super up-close blurry shots of the dude playing.
Fuck with that.
I can see if I can tilt it for you.
Oh, yeah. I fuck with that.
The whole thing. It's like out of focus for half of
Yeah.
it. Like, this is sick.
Yeah, I fuck with that.
And weirdly, like, especially at the beginning, it's like timed almost. Like, there'd be like a swash of red right as a guitar riff happens or
Yeah.
something like that.
I fuck with that. So,
Good shit.
right. So, to start off, this is from their 14th studio album. Their 14th studio album is called Rather Ripped. Rather Ripped. So,
Rather ripped.
Rather Ripped.
It's a good podcast name.
Yeah, right. So, it should be noted, and this is not something that I really, because of how much music they've released, I can't sit here and tell you that I'm like a huge, aficionado on Sonic Youth. I've heard a few records, and everything I've heard, I've been like, either I really like this or this is really fucking cool. They are a much more abrasive band on a lot of their other records. This is seen by a lot of people as their poppiest release, their most accessible release. Thurston Moore, the lead singer, great name, by the way, that's an author name. Thurston Moore refers to this as like a poppy release, if there ever was one. This song specifically, though, really struck me because, first of all, the guitar riff is nice, okay? It is a simple, repetitive guitar riff, and it is noise. And I mean it in that exact voice. You cannot describe this in any other voice. This is noise. It's so sick. I love songs that have a repetitive phrase inside because I love the idea of power phrases that you say when you need to find a level of power in a statement, right? I think words have power, and I think repetitive statements and power phrases are super fucking important in lots of like writing and music and all of that shit, right? The repetitive phrase "incinerate" here, which obviously means to burn something out completely, caters to the song because the whole thing is about Thurston Moore losing the love of his life in the early 2000s. When she passed, he described it as someone throwing a flamethrower into my mind, right? And that speaks on the pre-chorus right before the outro, where he says, "You wave your torch into my eyes, flamethrower lover burning mind," which I just fuck with that so hard.
That's
That is such a beautiful, visceral, intense way to describe it. And it adds an extra layer because, again, you hear this song and you're like, okay, he's saying the same thing over and over again, and it's a simple riff, but it's just, I don't know. I can't really explain it in words, but everything about this song hits a very niche, specific part of my brain that doesn't need super intense lyricism. It just needs a very visceral feeling where lyrics and instrumentation agree with each other and punch you square in the face. And this does that for me.
It does.
Again, I would not say if you want to get into Sonic Youth's essential identity, I don't think anyone would say this is where to start. If you want a very biased opinion based on something very simple and as simple as Rate Your Music ratings, which is so pretentious, of course. Rate Your Music has Daydream Nation as the number one. which, and from what I've heard from Daydream Nation and from what I remember, it's a great record. But that's noise rock. That is abrasive rock. If you want confrontational cool, you should listen to a lot of Sonic Youth's earlier stuff. Daydream Nation, Goo, Dirty, Washing Machine especially. I remember Washing Machine being super fucking experimental. But if you want Sonic Youth at its most palatable, similar to if you can call the Violet Femmes fucking palatable, I would say start here, or not even that. If you want Sonic Youth's Hyperview, which is the title fight record that we played before, start here. This is Incinerate by the masters of the no wave art scene, which was a play on new wave. They rejected punk rock tendencies. They hated cliches. They experimented with dissonance and noise. It's confrontational. It's experimental. It's abrasive when it's at its most essential piece. This just happens to be a great distillation of the ability to create really sick-ass guitar riffs with a really quintessential voice and really simple but punchy lyrics.
It's a groove.
It's a hell of a groove.
Damn good groove. It sounds youthful, which I like. I like the repetition of the word incinerate. I mean, it kind of emphasizes the point.
Yeah.
It just keeps burning up and burning up and burning. Like you're being incinerated by the bop. I was watching this music video the whole time, so I wasn't reading the lyrics, but I was very kind of like lost in the visual of it. Like it looks how it sounds. It's just this blurry sort of burning, swooshing, flying around, and I love that.
It's so interesting you say that because, again, take a shot. He's about to mention the Genius article.
I'm drunk.
You bet you at this point, yeah, you would be. So the music video for this song was directed by French art house filmmaker Claire. It's probably Denis because she's French, but I'm going to say Dennis.
That was the easiest paycheck of her life. Holy shit.
And features unusually framed close-ups of the band playing live, mostly illuminated by warm red lights of a fiery tone. So it's very art house. They are the most art house New York City band that you can think of. When you think of the New York City rock scene, you can think of lots of different bands. And New York City is very interesting because in terms of eras, you can find several clear pockets and eras defined by certain quintessential groups. Sonic Youth defined a lot of the 90s alternative rock scene, the immediate aftermath of the punk age that sort of, like I said, sputtered and died because all of them were really, really fucking high on heroin and dropping like flies and everyone had left. So Sonic Youth sort of bridges the area after the punk era and right leading up to the garage rock revival that like the Strokes and like Interpol, well, less so Interpol, but definitely like the Strokes.
Stella
was a diver and she was always down. The intro to that song is so funny because he goes, this song's called Stella was a diver and she was always down.
I had to take that song out of my playlist recently, unfortunately.
Why is that?
Because my Spotify DJ recommended it to me every 5 seconds, and I got really fucking annoyed.
Yeah.
It's a 5-minute song.
It's long.
Half the song is Stella.
I
just got so sick of it.
My friends, I told my friends that I liked Turn Off the Bright Lights by Interpol, and they were like, "Oh, well, that's a really basic album, and it's really boring." And I was like, "Okay, well."
Shout out Kobe's friends.
Shout out Kobe's friends. They're way nicer than that story. It's just in that instance, I was like, I don't really know what to say to that. So, yeah, they sort of bridge the gap. The point is, they bridge the gap between punk and like the Strokes, like the what was it? Sleaze rock. Sleaze rock is that era. So Sonic Youth make up a piece of the American tapestry, which is the word I was trying to come up with when I was talking about Nirvana earlier.
You don't like Zeitgeist?
I like Zeitgeist. I just think American Tapestry really gives an idea of them as like a picture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I see that.
So yeah, go listen to more Sonic Youth. Christ knows they have a bunch of shit to fucking get into. So yeah, any closing thoughts on Sonic Youth or Incinerate?
Nothing beyond what I've already said, but I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. Go listen to more. Listen to more Sonic Youth and listen to more Sleeper Suplex.
Listen to more Super Suplex. Thank you so much for putting up with us for these past 8 hours.
Good night.